So, welcome Ndeet.
Thank you.
The floor is yours.
Hello everyone. So welcome to our workshop on point of sale system with BTCPay. I will show in detail how our system was set up for Bitcoin Madeira conference. So we had there made the whole payment system with Boltcard Setup. And yeah, we'll give you a short overview about what I will be talking. So first, I will have a few slides about our mission and focus on BTCPay ambassadors. Then I will give you a high-level overview about how the setup works, so about the building blocks from it. And then we will do a hands-on demo on how you set up the merchant stores, install the point of sale app, set up the bolt cards. So we have a bolt card factory, which was done by Nicholas. He made it very easy to mass initialize bolt cards. So this is really helpful if you run a conference and need to set up a lot of bolt cards like we did for Madeira. I guess we did about 2,000 bolt cards with 8 people or something. It took some hours, but it worked very well. So after that, like I said, we will have a short Q&A session where you can ask questions. So let's start with the first slide. I'm very bad at making memes, and I also hope that Giacomo is not here and he will not slay me. So let's move on to the next meme, which is better known and most of you probably know it. So it's like Neo is talking to Morpheus. What are you trying to tell me, that I can trade my Bitcoin for millions someday? And Morpheus answers, no, Neo. I'm trying to tell you that when you are ready, you won't have to. But this is kind of a chicken and egg problem, right? So we have to start somewhere. We have to start building the infrastructure. And yeah, so this brings us to our mission. So we at BTCPay, we try to enable anyone to accept Bitcoin unhindered by geographic, political, or financial barriers. So as most of you probably know, Nicholas built BTCPay server during the block size wars, and his goal was to make BitPay obsolete. So So it was built as a drop-in replacement, and if you barely can remember BitPay, then it worked pretty well. So let's go back one slide. So yes, but from the beginning, BTCPay server was built in a way that it was multi-tenant. So you already could onboard other merchants on it. You could have multiple users on the platform. So, and at the beginning, mostly online merchants, they set up BTCPay for themselves, and then they shared the instance with other online merchants, which maybe were not that technical, but so we had a list of third-party hosts, so to speak. And in recent years, the next one, please. In recent years, this evolved a lot. So now we have actual communities where BTCPay is deployed so that they can onboard their local merchants. And for that reason, we focused from this year until the future, we will focus more on so-called BTCPay ambassadors. So they are really there and trying to onboard a lot of merchants. And we want to make it as easy as possible for them to do that. So it's really amazing. We have local communities all over the world where BTCPay is deployed. We have a lot of case studies made recently. You can find them on our blog. So I won't go into details of each of them, but I want to highlight 2 of them. So the first one is Bitcoin People app from Italy. So what they tried is They made a mobile native app, and they used BTCPay as the backend to easily onboard merchants in Italy. And they onboarded about 40 merchants right now. And I think it's a really great project. And a small spoiler, there will be some BTCPay app at some point in the future, which will also make it much easier to onboard merchants. So we are looking really forward to it. And another amazing project, most of you probably know that, it's Bitcoin Jungle in Costa Rica. So it's really mind-blowing that they onboarded over 200 stores in their local community. So I'm not sure if you know Francis Bolio, so he's posting all the time on Twitter when he buys his local grocery stuff with Bitcoin, and he's very proud of it, and I think he really can, because this is quite some achievement to onboard that many merchants. So over all the feedback we got from these local communities, online stores and so on, it turned out that now that we already covered a lot of the Bitcoin enthusiasts, we need to reach further out. So we can't expect that merchants already are familiar with Bitcoin. So their expectations are pretty different from what Bitcoiners' expectations are. So they want to have a technical abstraction. So they want to click a button and charge. It should be all similar to the credit card experience, and that's where the Boltcard Setup comes into play. So I'm not sure if you already used it, but you basically just hold the card and you pay instantly with NFC and over the Lightning Network. So that's pretty amazing. So this covers also the next step, next expectation with speed. So transactions should be really fast. And as they are not used to Bitcoin, they may want to have a hedge against the volatility. So they are eager to have a kind of stable coin hedge or something like that. And they want to save money on transaction fees. And yeah. So our first iteration of this point of sale system was deployed on Baltic honey badgers conference last year. So they reached out to us so that we set up their merchants with BTCPay and payment terminals. I will show the payment terminal that we use for that in more detail later. So it's called Bitcoinize terminal. It's a Bitcoin branded Android device which has an NFC reader and a printer. And this is really the same experience like with credit cards for merchants. So I will also show that later. You have a keypad where you enter the amount and then you click charge and ready to go. Yes, to that setup, like we had, can you go one slide back? I just want to highlight, so we had 1.1 Bitcoin transaction volume, which was at that point only 27,000 euros. We had almost 3,000 Lightning transactions, and our evil scientist Cooks built a crazy system where he hedged with liquid USDT so that merchants don't have a volatility risk. But that setup evolved over the last couple of months until we have the current setup, which we deployed to Madeira. And yeah, this setup is a bit different. So we learned a lot from the setup in Baltic honey badger. And the great thing about the new setup is that it was really almost flawless. We had some minor issues with top-ups, but this is also fixed now. So as you can see, we have over 8,700 Lightning transactions. We processed over 2 Bitcoin, which from the volume alone, it's like 115,000 euros. So it was pretty amazing. And also the feedback from the merchants and the users was very good. So the UX was very smooth. The transactions were very fast. So in my opinion, and from the feedback, it was a great success. So Now let's get into the setup, what we actually used at the conference. And this is more like a hands-on. I will show you some stuff, how you can set up everything with BTCPay. And yeah, I hope you follow along. And we will also release a guide where you have a step-by-step instructions how you can rebuild that exact setup later. But before that, I will give you a rough overview how the setup looks. So you can see here on the left we have our BTCPay server instance. And on the right you can see the Bitcoinize terminals which are used by the merchants. For this setup we partnered with Blink Wallet. So for the conference we did not want to set up our own Lightning node and manage the liquidity and stuff, and they are pretty good at doing that. So in this setup we have the Lightning wallet connected to Blink, and they provide even a hedge against the volatility. So they have the, like they call it stable sats, where you can set up the wallet so you receive it in USD basically. So merchants that are scared of volatility can receive USD. And for the Boltcard setup, like I already mentioned, Nicholas built a Boltcard plugin where you can set up and program Boltcards easily. So for this we have made a separate store, and this handles the Boltcard stuff. I will show you also in detail how this works. Yeah, so let's start with the setup. I won't show you this part because it would be boring to wait until the blockchain is synced. But basically, you need to set up a BTCPay server. It should have a public IP, and you should map a domain or subdomain to it so it's reachable from the internet. Then you register an admin account and create a first test store. For faster syncing the blockchain, you can use our fast sync, which is basically a UTXO set. You can download and then it will speed up things a lot. So once the server is set up, you then install the Blink plugin for the Lightning liquidity. But maybe I should mention at this point that you are not bound to use Blink, but you can use your own Lightning node. You can connect to an existing Lightning node. You can use our Breeze plugin to handle that. Yeah, you are free to configure your setup however you want. But for ease of use and great merchant experience, we choose to partner with Blink, and it worked really well. Yeah, and then install the Boltcards plugin to program the Boltcards. Okay, so I'm not sure how many people are familiar with BTCPay UI in general. So still some that don't know how it looks, therefore I show it to you quickly. So this is the BTCPay server admin UI. You can see we have a drop down here where we can create stores. You can see we have a Lightning wallet configured here. And like I told you before, we have the manage plugin view, which is only visible to admins. So if you use a third-party host, you can't access that, and you need to deploy your own BTCPay server, or the third-party host needs to provide the plugins you want to use. But like we show for this setup, for a conference, you definitely should run your own instance. Okay, so I will now show you how to create a merchant store. You have to do that for all of your merchants. So this is useful for accounting, and also the merchants want to get paid out after the conference. So you create a store for each merchant. You set up the Lightning wallet via Blink for each merchant. If the merchant wants to have it in stable sats, like I mentioned before, you should set up a rate spread of 1%, so it will add 1% to the invoice to cover for the costs of the stable sets, because Blink is charging 0.2% fee on that. But you don't need to if you set up the Bitcoin wallet there. Then we will enable sounds. There's a retail preset in our configuration, so you have nice sound and visual representation when a payment succeeded. And then I will show you how to set up the point of sale app. You also need that to do that for each merchant once. So each merchant can have a lot of point of sale terminals, but for each merchant, like I said, for accounting reasons, you should set up a new separate store and point of sale app. So let's just do that. So as you can see here, I already have the test store 1 here, but we create a new store. We call it test 2. We can change the currency, but we leave it as USD for now. Otherwise, I need to put down the microphone. Sorry? Zoom? Okay.
Maybe you could try speaking without the mic.
Yeah, I can try. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I will try to scream a bit. So we created the test 2 store. And what we need to do now is we need to connect to the Blink wallet. And how you can do that, you download the Blink app on your phone, then you get an account, and you can log in into their dashboard. In their dashboard, I won't show you that now, but basically you go to API keys, and there you can issue new keys. The API key just needs to have the read and receive permission for the merchants. But for the Boltcard setup that I will show you later, you need to have write permissions, because the Boltcards app can be used as a top-up device, so people can top up their cards and spend it, and therefore we need the write permission. So I will just set up the Lightning node. So when you have installed the Blink plugin, you can enter the Blink connection string here. So please, we will revoke those keys, but so okay, like this. Then you can check the connection, and you see the connection is successful. You just need to save, and you are connected with your Lightning wallet to Blink. What we do now is we go into settings. And here in settings, at the rates, like we said, we add the 1% exchange rate spread to cover for the stable sats costs if we want to have that. Save. And then to have the sounds and visual representation on succeeded payments, we also want to select the retail preset here. So this will enable sounds and confetti on the checkout screen, so that you actually can see it when you are charging, that the merchant can hear a sound and also can see it visually that everything worked. So, and what we need to do now is like we need to set up a point of sale app. Okay, and what's important here, because on the Bitcoinize device, we only want to see the keypad and not something else. You need to switch to keypad here. The other options is more like if you have, for example, a tablet or something, you could actually show a product list, or you can have a product list with cards, so it's like more when you have For example, if you were at Paralini Polis, they have that setup where you can select the items, put it in your cart, and then you can pay the sum later. But for our demo, we will do the keypad. And yes, just hit save. And that's now we set up the merchant. So the merchant has now a store, and it has a POS app which we can display on the terminal. And then we will do the setup for the Bitcoinize device. Like I said, this is this device. If you search for Bitcoinize, you will find them. It's an Android device that is branded with Bitcoin and is optimized for, you can use any of those devices, but with this one it's pretty easy because it's not locked for installing other apps and stuff. So we think it works pretty well. So you need to imagine you are now organizing the conference, so you want to have all devices charged to at least 90% battery. You want to have a good loading infrastructure. Imagine if you want to charge 15 payment terminals, you want to have proper charging power. You put the paper roll in place. You add the POS app to the home screen, which I will show you now. So what you can do, we go back to our store, and you see on the top right, you see that QR code icon. So you can, if the internet works, you can show that. Yeah. And you can use your camera of the POS device, and you just scan it. It will ask you to go to the link. Then you open it up, and you're already having now the keypad of the POS app. What you can do now, you can keep it open in the tabs of the browser, or you can actually add it to your home screen. So you add it to the home screen. Yes. So now it's easy for the merchants. They will see the icon there, and they can just click on it or tap on it, and they will directly get to the keypad. Yes, so that step with test the payment and give the browser NFC permissions. I already gave the browser NFC permissions, but yeah, it's not that important to do that. But what we will do is we will try a payment. So we enter 1 cent and click charge. And I will show you how we set up the Bolt cards shortly, but I will just do the payment now. The invoice is paid. I did not have the sounds on, but I will show it again later. You see confetti, the invoice is paid, and the merchant can now go to view receipt, and they can print out the receipt. That's also why those devices are really great. They have a receipt printer, and most merchants need to print out receipts. So you can do that here too. And then you can go back to the keypad and charge the next customer. So the experience is pretty good. Rockstar wants to...
I just want to tell you sorry, man, that I turned off the volume. My fault.
No worries, we can do it again. So. Yes.
Does the merchant want the receipt?
The merchant can print 2 receipts, one for themselves, but also I did not actually log in now, but what we have, the merchant has all the payment history also available to him.
Yeah.
And also in the UI of BTCPay, you have reports. So you really have detailed report, how many transactions did you make, how many payments were handled, and you can export it for accounting software. So it will contain exchange rate at the point of payment and stuff. So,
Yeah, so if you have one shop and they have, let's say, 3 different POS units,
yes.
you will then have just one BTCPay shop and then create 3 different POS? Or
No, you can have just one POS app.
Okay, so you'll have 3 different shops then for one coffee shop, if they have.
If they have 3 of such devices,
Yeah.
but it's the same merchant,
Yeah.
you probably want to only have one store, one POS app,
Okay.
so one of this,
Yeah.
and everybody uses the same.
Oh,
It's
yeah. Okay.
you just basically browse a website,
So you just
and
share
this
the
is
video.
showing that. Yeah, maybe I should have explained that. So what the QR code did, we just scanned the browser URL. That's why I said at the beginning that your BTCPay instance needs to be publicly available on the domain name, so that they can browse over this. So yeah, exactly. So yes, I already mentioned that. Access to the payment history for merchants. So if you are logged in, you can go back and see all the recent transactions. So now to set up the Bolt cards. So I'm not sure how many of you are familiar what the Bolt card is. Okay, not everybody. So a Bolt card is an NFC tag, and I will not go into much technical details, but the guys at Ndeet developed a protocol. It's called LNURL, and with this functionality, you can actually read that URL from the NFC card, and it will basically initiate a transaction from your Lightning node. So that's what Bolt cards are about. And the special thing about those Bolt cards, so if some of you are concerned about security, it is that they are encrypted. So if it's not encrypted, a merchant, when you hold the card, they would know your URL and they could drain your funds off your card, right? So the special thing about those cards, it's called NTAG 424 standard. They create a unique string each time you hold onto it. So they can't rug pull you basically. And yeah, that's why we need to program the cards, and you will see that the keys get set on the card. I will show you that now. So back to our BTCPay UI. As I mentioned earlier, you set up all the merchants already. We have the point of sale app, but now we want to set up the Bolt card provider. For this, we create a new store. We don't need to do that for each merchant because we basically have one Bolt card provider that is run by the conference organizers, right? So you basically are the issuer of the Bolt cards, and you need to program them so they work with your BTCPay server. So what we do now, we create another store. We call it Boltcard and we also connect it to a Lightning node. In this case, also Blink, but you can't connect the merchants to the same Blink account like the Bolt card provider. So you need to have a separate account for that. Oops.
Can you maybe explain why we were doing this? Because one wallet is receiving payments and then the other one will be like issuing payments for the Bolt cards. So that's why we are separate.
Yes. So like Pavlenek said, with the Boltcard, you need to handle top-ups, right? So people can top up their Boltcards, and therefore this needs to be a separate account, and also paying from the same account to the same account does not work on Blink, so that's another reason. Yes. So what we will do now, when you installed the Boltcard plugin, you can now see on the left side we have a menu entry with Boltcard factories. And the Boltcard factory is basically your app that can mass program Boltcards. So we will set up that one now. We create it. And in the amount field, you can set up an initial amount. So when you program the Boltcard, you could say, okay, all my conference attendees, they get, I don't know, 12,000 sats or 21,000 sats of initial balance with their ticket. So you can set it up here like you want. For this demo, we will just do 210 sets. It's important to set sets here and not fiat. So the Boltcards can only be programmed with Satoshis or Bitcoin. You can choose Bitcoin, but it's recommended to use sets here. What is also important, you need to click that checkbox of automatically approve claims. This is needed so that the top-up gets processed immediately and you don't need to do any approval and stuff. Under payment methods, now we only have BTC off-chain, which is Lightning. When you have set up your on-chain wallet, you will have also on-chain listed here, but we only need off-chain, and it only works with off-chain. So when you have all of that, you can save it. And then you will see in your list here, you have that app installed. And we can go here and click on the View button, which will show you a QR code when you don't have a NFC reader and writer set up on your laptop. But we don't need that anyway, because we will set up our Boltcards with the Bitcoinize device. So what you do is, like we did with the point-of-sale app scanning, we just scan that QR code, which is the URL to our point-of-sale factory app. So I will just scan that QR code. Then I will go to that link, and it will basically call in the browser our this endpoint you can see in the address bar. You click Setup, and you can now see, I will read it. It says, hold your card until it's finished. So now you are in the setup mode of the app. And what you do now is you need to have a blank Boltcard, so it does not have to be initialized already. This is also important. I will show you in a few minutes like how you can reset the cards, because it is important to understand when you now program the card, it's tied to your BTCPay instance, and usually you shut the instance down when you are done with the conference. So when you give those Boltcards away or you sell them and initialize them, they will be bound to that BTCPay instance. So what you want to do after the conference ended, you want to give your attendees the possibility to actually reset the card and make it blank again, so they can reuse it with another service or set up their own BTCPay server So for example, you could run your own BTCPay server and issue Bolt cards for all your family. You can also do that. That's why it's important, in my opinion, that you also provide people with a way to reset the card after the conference so they can reuse it and not need to throw it away or just have it for memories.
You have a question here.
Yeah.
Can I use the BTCPay server Boltcard app to wipe an app that was written, let's say, by Atlantis?
No. The problem is, like I said, it's encrypted, and I will just show now what it does. So it will basically write 4 keys on the card. Like this is for the replay protection we discussed earlier. And the keys for that will be stored on BTCPay. And the same is true for LNbits. So LNbits has the keys for wiping the card. So only they can wipe the card. That's also, yeah, it's a problem if you got a card somewhere, it was tied to some other LNbits instance, or for example, for Coin Corner, they don't even provide a way to wipe the card we discussed today. So yeah, it's a problem. When you hold the card, it says requesting new keys, okay. It says failed. Okay. That should not happen.
Maybe that one was used.
Yeah. Let's try another one. Okay, now you can see all. No, for this I don't use sound. So you can now see all green check marks, which means all is written to the card and it's properly set up. So, and what you can do now is like, you can do the next one. So now with sound, we have enough cards here, so. Yes. Okay, we now programmed a few cards, right? They have now the initial amount of Satoshis on them, and we can actually verify that now. So, let's go back to our store and Boltcard factory store. So, you on the left side, you have a link to the Boltcard balance. And here again, first time you can scan that QR code so that you then can store it on your Bitcoinize device. So I will scan the QR code. This will bring us to the consult balance screen. And how this works, you put the Boltcard you just programmed, or even during the conference, the users, you can have a terminal set up where the users can check their balance. Okay, so you see 210 Satoshis are on it. And what you can do now, or what users can do, they can top up that. So I will remember this is the card with 210 Satoshis. And I will click on that QR code icon, which will show me a top-up invoice. And I can now pay that invoice. So I can enter another 210.
So that's an LNURL paid, I'm sorry?
This is a zero amount top-up invoice. Yeah. Okay, and here on my phone, I can see thank you for your purchase, and I get a link to the receipt page even. So I can now store the receipt for that payment. And what we can do now, we can double check if we actually have the balance on the card. So I hold this same card, and you can now see the latest transaction 34 seconds ago, 210 sats. So it worked.
There was 210 before, no?
Yes, you now have 2 payments of 2. Yeah, maybe I should have chosen another amount. Okay, so now we topped up our card, and
One question.
yes.
So, Boltcards generated this way, they will only work with BTCPay servers.
So when you initialize the card, it is bound to BTCPay server
But
instance.
one concrete BTCPay server?
Yes.
Okay. So, for example, in this case, they will only work with stores that have
No, the payment works from every Lightning wallet, right? It's only
for top-up or for payment?
both.
So with this Boltcard, you can pay anywhere, as long as this BTC.
Yes, as long as this instance is online, because it will send the request to the instance, please pay from my account, and then it will get transferred. Yes?
The payment will just be added the SAT balance to the mint, basically.
Yes.
Right? You increase the balance.
Yes. So this is like when you are in the conference and maybe the organizer just did one Satoshi, just that it's set up, and then you want to actually have some amount on it, and maybe you don't have any internet connection, because with the other nice thing with the Boltcards is only the merchants needs to have the internet connection. When you are in foreign country, these Boltcards are very handy, so you can use them without having internet connection. Yeah. Any more questions on that part? Yeah.
Now, how do we release the keys? That the juicy part.
Yeah, so that's the next step. Like the conference is over, and what you want to do, and this is a step that also the users can do on their own phone, right? So you as a conference organizer, you will just publish the URL to reset the card. And when we go back, back to our Boltcard factory store, we have also on the left sidebar the Boltcard reset link. And this works the same way, so you can share the link via social media, or also print out that QR code for users to scan it during the conference. Before they reset the card, they should wipe the balance, because otherwise it's gone. So, and
Can you tell them how they can actually withdraw the balance? Like there is wallet of Satoshi that is compatible, so you can give this to people, they can use wallet of Satoshi, reclaim the balance, and then repurpose the card. So it's a great onboarding tool.
yes, so you can sweep the Boltcard yourself, right? Yes?
How do you actually sweep? Do you have to know the exact amount?
So what Pavlenek said, I'm not sure if any other wallet works, but I tried it with Blink. It did not quite work with their wallet. But wallet of Satoshi, they will actually read out the amount that's on the card and will already display you the max amount you can withdraw. And then,
Use balance, they just have it in the
yeah, you will just click
Actually sweep.
yes.
Okay, that's
And then you will have 0 Satoshis on it. And then you can reset the card, which I will show now. So,
Like, how does it know the channel balance that you need, like the reserve balance?
yeah, this is abstracted away to Blink, right? No, this is handled by Blink, because we connected the Blink wallet. They run a big Lightning node. They make sure the liquidity is there. They make sure the channels work.
It would work with a certain.
It would work, but you need to make sure the liquidity is there. Yes?
Can I use bring in instead of clean?
Bring in is just a payment, or it converts your Lightning balance to SEPA. So, and maybe just to show you that, maybe let's just do that on my phone so you see you don't need this device. Okay, my phone just restarted, so probably let's do it on this device. So like I said, you can do that, the users or the attendees can do that themselves on their own phone as long as they have NFC support. And yeah, the internet got slow now, just for finishing. Okay, and now I hold the card. Success, and it's now wiped. And this card is now basically factory setup, so you can reprogram it.
Andy, there is one question here as well.
Yes, please.
I mean, only if you are done with the cards part. It's not a question about
Yes.
anything with cards, so I will finish.
No, I'm actually finished. What I wanted to say, I have blank bolt cards for free over here, so you can get one to just play around with it. So come and grab them after we finished. And yeah, let's go to questions.
So my question was about this stable sats hedging.
Yes?
When using Blink as a backend node, how does that work exactly? Like,
So I will show you one moment.
like first of all, how do you enable it on the server side?
So like you can see here, you get two connection strings from Blink. One is a Bitcoin wallet and the other one is a StableSats wallet. So when we set up the Lightning connection with our Lightning wallet in the merchant store, you will use that second USD StableSats connection link, and then it will automatically store everything in StableSats.
So that means the customer is paying always in Bitcoin,
Yes.
but on the merchant side, for the merchant, is either the sats or equivalent in USDs as stable sats that is being stored.
Yes,
And
when you
Blink is managing the swap in case the merchant wants to get stable sats.
Yes, when you put the StableSats connection link into your merchant wallet, so to speak, then you will get StableSats and not Bitcoin.
So that means in that case, the customer pays sats, Blink makes the swap.
They will
to
charge
stable
you
sats.
0.2% fees, but then you have no volatility risk.
Okay, and then at the end of the conference, the merchant will get the payout
Yes.
in fiat or whatever. Or in
There are
stable sats.
different options here, right? You could be as organizer, so if the merchant has no clue about Bitcoin, they probably won't do that setup. So you as organizer could have a merchant's wallet, you connect them with StableStats, and then you pay them out over fiat, for example. If they
You
don't
keep the
want,
stable sats. Okay.
but you can hedge yourself with StableSats that you don't have any volatility risk.
But that means in that case there will still be necessary like another step, right? So if you have merchants who are only eager to accept Bitcoin if they get fiat, you as a conference organizer have to make that last conversion, right?
It depends. So if they can do it themselves, so you can ask them for their connection link and they will get it to their wallet.
But if they don't want to use sats, they're also not going to want to use stable sats.
Right, and that's where most of the time you as organizer, for those that are not already Bitcoiners, so they will just want to receive fiat.
So basically it's a way for you as organizer to say, okay, at the end of the conference, I will give you the exact amount of fiat you have
Exactly,
forced,
yeah.
but I will be your custodial during the duration of the conference.
Yes.
But this way you don't have fiat conversion risk.
This way your attendees can pay with Bitcoin, the merchants have a great experience, like they come in touch with Bitcoin, maybe they will accept it, maybe not.
We also have a fiat off-ramp plugin that automates conversion directly to SEPA payments. The one that
Yeah, you could set up that one, the Brink.
BTCPay.
Yeah, sorry.
And how does that work? Like you can.
It's called bringing.
Yeah, it's called bringing.
They're also here at the conference, and and it is KYC, so you need to sort of sign up. But it basically, someone pays a lightning invoice, and you get it in euros in your bank account with an IBAN number.
And in BTCPay we have an automated flow set up with it, so you configure your bring-in account with your store. As soon as you get your invoices paid,
People losing their money.
It's basically actually the same as the stable tax, so you don't need link.
kind of, but it converts it to euro.
Question on that, if you don't want to use the Boltcard implementation, you use bring-in for the merchants.
Well, bring-in underneath uses Breeze SDK.
I use Breeze SDK.
Internally, yeah, so you
So
can kind of
basically
do the whole thing without bringing to the degree.
5 minutes max.
Okay.
I think like the Boltcard itself is separate, right? Like it's just a
Yeah.
backend. Like
All
you're
part
not
is an interface on top
right.
of.
So you would not use Blink as a backend. You would use Bring-in as a backend. Right? But you could still have a Boltcard.
I'm gonna try it.
Any more questions?
Does the BTCPay set up some payment limits to the both cards? Like
No.
The Atlantis sets up some limits for payments for day or.
Yeah, we don't have that at the moment, but yeah, it's easily to do that. So you can set up limits, yeah, so that you can only be charged 10,000 sats one time when you hold the card onto it. That's possible from LN URL spec. So yes.
When do we see BTCPay servers be offered on more platforms as a default? It's coming from like to allow the power of default to play for BTCPay server as for the merchants to easily set up. So from a distribution point of view and when do we see?
Yeah, it depends on other integrators, I guess. So like LunaNode is a great example. They make it very easy to deploy BTCPay server. It's also installable in Start9, but then you have the problem you are on your home network. You need to connect to external.
Do you have the web access problem? Is it public?
It's public.
So yeah, for this setup, we recommend public VPS. So yeah.
That's it.
So if there are no more questions, thank you very much.